Cristobal, welcome to Código Equino. This is a great opportunity for us to meet and share with you about this topic of Indian Doma or Indian Taming, which people are curious about and which we hope to present in a simple manner so that people can pick up on the most important points. So welcome to Colombia. Thank you very much. The truth is that I'm very happy to be here. So let's get to it. The main question is, how did Indian Doma as a horse training school get started? How can we explain to people the foundations that this horsemanship school is based on? Well, my father, whom you will meet later, he was practically raised by an old indigenous man on our land, and for many years he taught my dad many aspects of our indigenous culture, and among those teachings, and which for my dad were important, or rather, what interested him the most was their way of training horses. And my father called this technique Indian Doma, or Indian horsemanship, as a way of honoring that tradition. I am not a horse tamer. I want to be called a horse that establishes a hierarchy so that I can engage with him. And this hierarchy will allow me to protect him and educate him. Protect him how? Absence of pain. But I also present demands and limits. This is what she needs, what you and everyone else needs. So in summary, and so we can reach some agreement here, I should say that a horse, a wild colt, contains two factors that add up and are bad for us but good for them: fear and tickling response. So let's synthesize and try to comprehend and get into the brain and soul of the horse. We need to comprehend them, which is not the same as mere understanding. For me, to comprehend is to make a commitment to explore your soul, your hopes, your fears, and your goals. For me, comprehending a horse means to get inside its head to understand its fears and its tickle response. Everything that the horse did, it wasn't because it was bad or anything like that. It's simply afraid and feeling insecure. What do I need to do so that the horse can meet anyone's expectations as well as its own? That is, don't cause me pain. Explain things to me in a way I can understand. And if you can love me, I will respond better. The only work that we consider inadequate is that which is badly done. And it's done badly because of a lack of time or lack of foresight. No matter the age of the colt, you can apply a constructive criteria and socialize the colt to some extent before he receives any type of assistance from a vet, a farrier, or a trainer. What we propose to accomplish through Indian Doma, its exercises, and its philosophy is to socialize the colt, to tame it, so we can later shoe him, draw blood, mount him, and train him. As long as he is, let's say, not so much cooperating, but heeding an order, he will be calm, and I won't bother him. So what my attitude is telling him is this: I want you to understand that I am going to put limits on you because limits help to educate and establish discipline. And through discipline, you train. That is my inner horse speaking, not the tamer speaking. What's coming through is my intention of establishing a bond, a dialogue and a relationship, and I hope that relationship will be positive. So as far as the horse is concerned, the relationship is based on contact. I can't tame a horse by osmosis or telepathy. There's fear. More fear. Come here. There are no ghosts here.
Venga, venga, venga. Venga, venga.
Now we're playing.
Ahí está el juego. Ahí está el juego. Uja, uja, uja. Ah. Y ahí está.
And now he relaxes. Am I being clear? So that was the fear, and this is the tickle response. These are two factors that are key in the education of horses. If we can dial down the fear and the tickling response, we will have a predictable horse. And if he is predictable, it's because he trusts me. And if he trusts me, it's because I've generated that trust. Only then can we make a partnership and we can say we're establishing a positive relationship. And I, as I'm being attracted by this horse, I use my legs the way they use them. It looks brutal, but it's not. And right now, this horse, Cipriano, is trusting me.
Está confiando.
It's not so hard for one animal to trust another animal. It's difficult for an animal to trust a dominating human. I show him my unconditional love so that he can later, through understanding, give me all of his talents for me to enjoy, together, in a positive and understanding relationship with no aggression. If you have a horse that is overly tame, one that you've been handling since he was a baby, and he's now 2 years old, and you give him oranges and brown sugar, you're making a mistake. You're spoiling him, and you're turning him into a pet, and not letting him be a horse. And maybe you love pets, but he doesn't understand that it's not training. That's why I say the relationship should be clear, impartial, and fair. You have to let him be a horse, even if it's just for 2 seconds out of every month. Otherwise, he will be like a spoiled child or a dog, anything but a horse. It's clear that we have a relationship, but that relationship does not have to be a symbiotic or possessive relationship. Basically, I make a distinction between bad habits and traumas, both of which are negative behaviors. Bad habits, in general, are born out of overly condescending or affectionate treatment, where the horse doesn't learn to discern anything, so they learn to bite, to move, or throw their weight on you. It's a horse that is, quote, so well treated that it does not recognize any type of hierarchy. Basically a pet. More of a pet than a horse. A pet that weighs 450 to 500 kilos, and I wouldn't play around with that many kilos. Those are the bad habits. Traumas are problems that are very noticeable in the horse, and which may have been caused by an accident or some type of aggression or some punishment it couldn't cope with. In both cases, there are always any number of ideas of what we can improve. I could never guarantee that the problem will be perfectly resolved. It's like a broken car engine. I can make some repairs. I can fix it, but I can't guarantee that it will run like it just came out of the factory. But some improvement is always feasible. Some of the most common bad habits are biting or not letting you lift their legs, because the few times they try to handle his legs, they let the horse win, because the horse wants to leave all of his legs on the ground. There are horses that can even become aggressive when you go get them out of the box. Or if you're carrying a carrot or sugar, when the horse sees that, he will try to kick you. Those are bad habits. They are things that can be improved with a firm attitude without the need to resort to violence. But you get that discipline by being firm. On the other hand, you have traumas, and that is when the horse is afraid that something bad that happened to him in the past will happen again. And those can generally be reversed over a longer time by engendering trust, by making the horse confront its fears. For example, today I was throwing the rope over a horse's back, and the horse reacted as if I were lashing him with a whip, and I had to repeat it 15 times until the horse understood that it wasn't going to hurt. The most common traumas we see are blows to the head and excessive pulling, like when they're being prepared for an exhibition. Too much pressure of some sort. Right. Instead of taming the horse, they try to overpower him. So they put him in an arena and they whip him. Then, anytime they hear the sound of a whip, you can see how they enter a state of panic. You can see how the horse will gradually let go of that fear by understanding me. What do I want the horse to understand? I want him to understand that my proximity is not dangerous. And what will happen once he understands that? He will start to trust me. And that is what this taming or Doma is about. It's about creating a bond based on trust, not a one-way imposition, which is common in the human ego. I have to dominate you. Instead, when I come in here, I say, let's see what we can do together. And instead of saying I am taming him, I say that I am playing the fool in order to establish a relationship. This is mistrust, a lack of trust. I have to make him trust me. And for him to trust me, I have to speak his language, which is this. When I do this is all to generate that trust. This is all part of a language that they have. Generate trust in order to do this. To achieve this. These are all gestures that they make towards other horses.
Juego.
Jamás voy a provocarle dolor. Jamás van a hacer de mí.
I will never, ever cause him pain. I will never intentionally punish him with the intent to hurt him. Eventually, the repeated and firm imposition of limits will result in a discipline that is very enjoyable to us. So the first thing I do, particularly with a horse with these characteristics, is to approach her body. Observe her attitude. She's asking, "What are you going to do to me?" And she more or less answered, "He doesn't look so bad. What am I doing here? What am I doing? I am treating her like an animal. I don't care if she's mixed breed or from such and such lineage, or if her father was champion, or if her mother was important, or if she's the worst mare in the pasture. I don't care. What interests me is that they brought her for me to educate her. And this being deserves the same respect, whether she's worth $1 or $1 million. It's all the same."